Hi, my name is Coleman Sisson. I'm the CEO of BubbleUp. We're a digital agency that does a lot of e-commerce stores. And today I have with me Eric Seastrand, who's the Vice President of e-commerce here at BubbleUp and has done an extensive amount of software development and customizing. And over the last few years, we've really focused on Shopify. Eric, I wanted to ask you today, can you give me, 3 to 5 smart things to do when you start using Shopify? What are some things come to mind for you?
Sure. So I think the biggest one for me, having come from the custom development world, if you will, was always actively try to avoid reinventing wheels. Always look for an existing solution before you try and build one. Even if that existing solution doesn't tick all your boxes, you may actually learn a lot from the research process of looking for those existing solutions. And you may find one of two things. You may find, well, maybe there's no app out there that does what you need, but you'll learn what the apps support and maybe how they achieve it, and that can help you when you go build your custom thing, if you really need to go that route. The other thing you may find is that actually, you had this dream of how you're going to build a thing, and you find an app that ticks 90% of your boxes, and you may decide, you know what, I can just use that app. It's not worth going and building a bunch of custom stuff. Let me just use the app, and let me get a minimum viable product. Let me get a proof of concept up. Let me see if this idea is actually going to drive sales before I go invest a whole bunch of development effort into building custom stuff.
Cool. And I guess some of the other things is you can, since we talked about in one of the other sessions, how you can create, it's basically a website CMS. You can then go create landing pages that are custom, that are particular for something you're promoting.
Absolutely. So that's another place where there's a thing to do or a thing to avoid, I guess, and that is when you're building a new landing page. Always try and use the theme sections that exist in your theme right out of the box. Try and resist the urge to take a theme section and then make a copy of the liquid file and start changing the liquid file. That may work fine the first 2 or 3 times, but before you know it, you'll have a theme editor full of 100 liquid files and you're not really sure which one is which. And then inevitably, when you want to change the theme on your site and update and change branding, you're going to have to reconcile what's going on in all 100 of those files. Whereas if you just stuck with the theme sections that were added to the box for your theme, then you have out of the box functionality. That's the onus of the theme editor to make sure that keeps working when you migrate.
Yeah, cool. How about when you're importing? One of the other sessions we talked about migrating from, let's say, Magento to Shopify. When you're importing, are there any best practices, things you'd recommend in that regard? Yeah,
absolutely. So I think the biggest one that I would say, if you have this option, if you're doing product imports, start small. Maybe pick 5 products and try importing those first just to test your scripting and test your process. And ideally do that in a development store that's not the eventual production one you're going to want to work with. The reason there is very simple is that it's really convenient if you need to just blow away your whole dev store and start fresh. If you've imported products into your future eventual production store, you have to go delete 10,000 products. That's going to take a while because it's a batch process that Shopify has to do behind the scenes, and it's just going to suck down time. So I think that would be the biggest one is, pick a few products first, start small, and then iterate. Yeah. Don't try and go all in. Ask me how I know. Don't start with all 10,000 products. Yeah. Start with 10. Yeah, that makes pick one sense. From each category and go from there.
That makes sense. Is there any things that would be dumb to do that you'd like to tell us to prevent causing ourselves too much trouble?
Yeah. So really, if you can avoid it, try to avoid touching the payment flow. Try and avoid having to inject custom scripts that sit between adding to cart and actually paying for something. That can quickly become a black hole of development time and money, simply because there's so many moving parts. If you can avoid doing any of that and use off-the-shelf stuff, that's always the best option. I'm not sure if maybe I could elaborate more, or if that makes sense, or if you have further questions.
No, that's great. That's great. No, you've been great. Well, listen, thank you very much for your time, Eric. This is always fun talking to you and hearing about how to help customers make money online, and that's what we're all about.
That's what we do.
So thank you for watching, and see you next time.